Data on the farm is valuable, not just to the farmer, but to other business entities. But who really owns and controls that on-farm data coming in through smart devices? Bill Oemichen is a professor of practice and law at UW-Madison's Division of Extension. He tells us where the farm information is going and how farmers can get additional value from their data. But first, he reminds us just how much information a farm provides.
Well, we've moved from analog agriculture, which means not very sophisticated electronic agriculture, to digitized agriculture, which means now when the planter is going down that field, it is figuring out exactly the right place to put that seed. It's getting data on where that seed was put. It's being sent through smart devices up into the cloud, and that information is being aggregated with all sorts of other information like how much rain's fallen, what is the nutritional nature of that soil, so how much fertilizer is there, those types of things, and all that's being combined to figure out, is that seed going to do well, and if it does well, what's the value of that underlying land then?
So it sounds like valuable information for the farm business, but who cares about that type of data off the farm?
Well, it's extremely valuable data. It's very valuable data because for a farmer, they can decide, I don't need to put as much pesticide in this area, and therefore helping to protect the groundwater and surface water. And so it has lots of benefits from that. But the greater value in that is the companies that provided this, whether it's the seed, the fertilizer, the feed, whatever they provided, they're gathering that data through the smart devices. They're aggregating with a whole bunch of farms. And the good purpose is they're trying to provide you with better products and services as a farmer. The part that's not quite so fair is they're creating all this data that they can then sell to third parties, and they're making a lot of money off of it. And in some cases, it's being sold to hedge funds that are then competing with farmers for the purchase of land.
So in that case, is it fair that the company gets to also take the data? Is that like a non-negotiable?
Well, it's really hard to negotiate these agreements from a consumer protection standpoint. I was head of consumer protection for the state of Wisconsin. These are boilerplate agreements. Basically, you either agree to it or you don't. It comes in on your iPhone or on your iPad. It's multiple pages long, has complicated language that even an experienced attorney like me doesn't always understand, and most everybody's just going to hit the consent. You hit the consent. In the agreement, it does say the farmer owns their own data and has access to their own data in almost every agreement. Not everyone, but most agreements. What you don't realize is that it also says that we control that data, and once we've anonymized it, so we can't have individual characteristics about you, but we can about your farm. Once we've anonymized that, we can aggregate it with other farms and develop what's known as predictive analytics, which says we can almost be assured that we know exactly what that 40 acres is going to produce over the next 10 years based on precipitation, based on soil quality, all of that. That is tremendously valuable information.
So when you make farmers, growers aware that they don't own all their data exclusively, what's the reaction?
Well, trust is definitely an issue. And most cooperatives, for example, if you're buying your ag inputs from a co-op, the co-ops generally will not sell your data to a third party. Like Farm Credit, they said, we will not do this. Farmers own us. We're not going to ever use this information against farmers. It's the for-profit companies that you have to be more concerned about. There is a group of for-profit ag input providers that have agreed to certain principles. It's called Ag Data Transparent, which gives their producer more information, more control over their data. And so what we're saying is be aware of those companies. You can Google it, Ag Data Transparent. If you've got a choice between using a company for ag input that complies with those standards and one that doesn't, you're far better off going to that company that uses the Ag Data Transparent principles.
Technology has come a long way in agriculture, and it sounds like there's more options out there for you to shop around so that you can make that best decision for your farm, such as who owns my data.
That's right. And that's all we're trying to do is say, look, you still own your data, but you're giving up control. Know who you're giving that control to and what they're going to use it for. And there are some companies out there that will commit to certain principles to not really use that against your interest. And those are the companies you want to do business with.
And just real quick, have you seen any type of litigation come out of some of these issues? Or
This is still very, very new, because we haven't had digitized data, big ag data as we call it, really for more than the past half a decade to a decade at most. And so it's creating a whole bunch of new legal issues that lawyers like me are analyzing, but there's not much, if any, case law out there yet on this that'll help determine how courts will view this, much less regulators with the government. And right now we're in a deregulatory environment, so it's unlikely the government's going to do anything about this anyway.
Is there anything else I should be asking you about agricultural data, who it belongs to, and what a farmer's options are before I let you go?
Well, farmers can do some things to help protect themselves. If they take raw data, which cannot be copyrighted, but they create a data set and do some analytics off of that, you can copyright that as a farmer. You can also, if you're not giving that data to anyone else, you can claim trade protection, trade secret protection on that. So there are some legal protections there. Most farmers don't use them. They don't want to go out and hire a lawyer to figure that out. We're helping educate farmers on how to do that, but there are some protections that farmers potentially could take advantage of.
And again, the best resources can be found through the Extension Law Program.
Exactly, yeah. If you have questions, please see us at the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension and the Agriculture Institute. We're here to provide this kind of guidance, and it's at no cost.
Bill Oemichen along with us, reminding you that your farm's data has value beyond the farm gate. Make sure you're getting your fair share. Bill is a professor of practice and law through the Division of Extension. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Stephanie Hoff.